Twins win again last night, a 2-0 win. Great stat, by the way, on the TV broadcast. The Twins have now won 6 times this year where they've scored 2 or less, which tells you that they are pitching out of their mind. However, Ron, my question is actually more a little on the negative side. So Byron Buxton has been a big topic of conversation on this show on the load management plan. And since the Twins announced that plan, Buxton has struggled mightily. He's 2 of 28. His batting average is creeping down toward 200. So, Ron, should the Twins have just put him on the injured list when they found out he was hurt? Are they doing him a disservice now by actually playing him as much as they are?
The fact that they're winning, I struggle with that one because maybe if he is out, there's a mental downtick in the team. I look at Steph Curry, and you look at when he was hurt and he was the sixth man, and people were saying, "Oh, are they rushing Steph Curry back too soon? Should he just relax? They're in the playoffs. No matter if they get the 5, the 4, the 3 seed, they'll be fine." I think they took the best path, the path of least resistance. Originally, people didn't want that 5 seed because they didn't want to have to go to the Suns. Or with the 4 seed, they didn't want to have to go play the 1 seed. Well, the Mavs did everybody a favor. And Steph Curry, he's been able to work back in. And so it worked the way Steve Kerr did it. Had him work in, and now look at him. He's killing it. He's getting Luka pissed off about everything he's doing. So when I look at Byron Buxton, I treat it like that. I look at the exciting, the defensive, juggernaut. That 2 runs stat. It's pitching, but it's fielding as well. Because we know if guys aren't mentally dialed in, there could be bobbled balls thrown a little bit late, guys not in the right position, fielders not really taking the right angle to fly balls, guys losing it in the lights, not really being prepared for some of these, the fly balls, not calling your teammate off, not throwing to the right guy, chasing the guy in the rundown and throwing it to the wrong base. I mean, there's so much that can go wrong in baseball when you're not mentally into it. And so I think Byron Buxton adds that mental, like, man, we can get this done. We got Buxton and Correa. That's because that's what everybody keeps talking about. Buxton and Correa. That was kind of how the season started. They were bombing balls at training camp. And then when he gets hurt, it's like, well, how do we keep this momentum going? And I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they feel like they have enough where if he's struggling the way he is, he'll find his way out. He's a pro. Maybe he struggles for 10 more games. But he'll rest up as he's struggling. He won't be like cold, because what you don't want is him coming back cold turkey, fully healthy, but then he gets hurt again, because then we're going to be like, well, he hasn't been out there, and now they're asking him to go out there and sprint full speed, and he pulls his hamstring. So I think there's something to that too, of trying to really see like how can he work through this injury. Clearly, they've asked him if you're hurt or you're injured, and we know the answer. He's out there playing. So no, I mean, the way they're winning, I'd say just you can't look back when you're on the record you have right now and you're leading the AL Central.
Yeah, and he did make a great play defensively last night in center field. So you're right. He does have that impact. And if he can even if he gets on the base paths with a fielder's choice, which doesn't count as a hit, but if he's on the base paths with his speed, he's still a weapon. So
Yeah.
there is plenty of value there, and the stats would back that up. I've got a football question for you. Is it the end of an era? Is it the end of the Pro Bowl as we know it? Roger Goodell saying that he and the owners have talked about the Pro Bowl game and completely altering the way that week goes, basically coming to the conclusion that the game is not really that valuable. Nobody tackles, nobody tries, people drop out of it because they don't want to play. It's lost all of its meaning, so they're coming up with alternatives to celebrate the players. Ron, how would you feel about the NFL terminating the Pro Bowl?
I don't think they're going to terminate. They're going to have the Pro Bowl, but they're going to have, like you said, they're going to just have maybe skill stuff only. I think what ends up happening when it becomes just skill stuff, you're still going to get the party atmosphere. You're still going to get people to want to travel. I'd say if they open up the media availability to these players down there as well, allow outside media fans to maybe interact a little bit more. We've gone through COVID the last 2 years, so the fans haven't had the same interactions at the Pro Bowls that they used to, where it used to be like the autograph signings. Fans were allowed at all the practices. For the last 2 years, it was kind of a weird, how do we handle this? It doesn't really matter if they get COVID in the Pro Bowl, season's over, but also, health-wise, we don't want to just expose the players to this and be liable. I do see it going more to a skills thing, a more TV generated, because like the NBA All-Star game, people don't really watch the All-Star game as much as they used to. They watch the skill stuff. They want to see the 3-point contest, the dunk contest. They want to see the stars, the rookies, whatever, shining stars versus whatever, sophomores versus rookies, the USA versus the international. Those things are cool. I think the NFL is gonna, I think it's a monkey see, monkey do type of world when it comes to sports. Just like when the NHL did the whole follow the puck with the line, and they were trying that because they had seen that before. I think they're going to find something. I know Madden wants to be involved big time. You saw that with the Madden Challenge where Justin Jefferson and all those young guys played each other, had like a Madden Challenge. You see the skills challenge with quarterbacks. You see the receivers doing skill challenges. You see the players and quarterbacks doing like the dunk contest style, throw the ball up in the air, let the receiver do something crazy. Let's score them with that catch. I think you're going to see more of that. As far as the game itself, yeah, like the fact that it's two-hand touch now, even like running back runs through, as long as you have him in your grasp, he's good. Quarterbacks are breaking free. Mac Jones broke free, but then they blew the whistle because you can't touch the quarterback. It's like a glorified practice. And to put that on TV and waste our time with that, like and that's where Roger Goodell and the owners know all the big time, NFL analysts, Booger McFarland, all these guys, Marcus Spears, they're all tweeting like, man, what is this? Like, what is this crap? Like, I remember playing with Sean Taylor and going to the Pro Bowl because Ed Reed went, and Sean Taylor decapitating a punter. I've seen now again, that was the only time that happened. Other than that, it wasn't big hits, but there were true tackles. There were guys really trying to run and play defense and run on ones. Guys weren't trying to hurt each other. But the Super Bowl guys were there because it was after the Super Bowl. Now with it being before, you're losing the Super Bowl guys, and I think that's the key. As guys pull out, you get less guys, superstars per se. And yeah, it's losing its luster. So I think they're going to come up with an NBA style format to try to help it out a little bit more.
Yeah, I think they should have the starting quarterbacks do a schoolyard pick of 6 position player skill players, have a 7-on-7, just sort of passing game. Then I would have dudes doing stuff they don't usually do. So have the offensive linemen kicking field goals, have the defensive backs trying to throw the ball. I would mix it up and get crazy with it because I think that'd be super compelling and fun.
I'd say they need to have flags though. I'd say just make it flag football. If you make it flag football, put the protective little helmets on, I think that because then guys still can run full speed. There's still some action to it. Flag football, I've seen it at the US Bank Stadium. It's exciting when guys really are serious about it. I think that might be the route because then flag football, you can have offensive linemen playing receiver, running back. I like that thought. I like where you're going with that. So I think they could do that.
All right. Minnesota Timberwolves have made a big hire. Tim Connolly, the new president of basketball operations, 5 years, $40 million. They poached him from the Denver Nuggets. And apparently Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez had a big role in the negotiations. So Ron, I ask you, is this new ownership group changing the culture in the Minnesota Timberwolves where they are actually maybe going to become a place where top executives, maybe even top players want to go to?
Yeah, I think so. I think Alex Rodriguez adds a name to it that people recognize. When your phone rings, and if you have A-Rod saved, or if you don't, you see that number pop up. My guess is he has probably a New York number, or LA number or something like that, something fancy. But it pops up, and or you just see a Timberwolves because even if you don't have it saved, the Vikings call you, it says Vikings on your phone. I don't know how Verizon does that, but if they call and the Timberwolves are on your phone, you're going to answer. Well, is that Alex Rodriguez calling you? Oh, what's going on, A-Rod? Hey, let's come have dinner with me, man. Can you get J-Lo? No, she's with Ben, but hey, just still come. I got something else. That's where I think, I think it becomes, because free agents is about whining and dining, trying to explain to them, whether it's players or front office guys, explaining to them the allure of Minnesota, the Lake Minnetonkas, the golf courses, the country clubs, all the stuff you're going to experience here, and then the organization. What are we going to do? How much money are we going to spend? What can we add to this franchise? What can we do at the Target Center to make it better? What can we do at their practice facility, their locker rooms? We have money to spend. We're willing to do this. I mean, there's a lot going on when you look at Mark Lowry trying to get connected to the fans, being at the games, getting the shoe off thing with all the fans. I think they're, and then you got one of the most exciting players. I saw the Netflix movies coming out now with Adam Sandler. He's in it. Anthony Edwards is in it. Hustle. So now you got one of the new exciting players who's kind of becoming a face, early face. Not really. You got to see if he can sustain where he's at, but kind of an early exciting face to this league where years past, it's like, should we have gotten LaMelo? Did this backfire? No, you got the right pick, man. Anthony Edwards is that guy. LaMelo is good. He's definitely good. He was one of the top rookies, passing, shooting, doing exciting. But they needed a guy like Anthony Edwards, a bulldog, like a guy that, hey, Jimmy Butler, you say something, I got something to say back. You do something to me, I'm a dunk on your player. Like they got a guy. Now he just has to overcome some of the bad shot stuff, but they got a guy. And so now it's like, who can we add to this puzzle? What free agents want to come here and play with Cat and Anthony Edwards? I think that's a great move. And yes, I think they're changing the culture of that mindset of Glenn Taylor kind of sometimes being cheap, not being able to get top execs, keeping KG out of the facility. Once that final signature is done and that ink's dry, I think KG's coming right back. I think he'll be back on the bench or some fashion. He'll be right next to Mark Laurie maybe every game. But I think that's the next step too in that culture, getting KG back to embrace Minneapolis.
Yeah, the Timberwolves have never been on the map as much as they are right now, maybe since the end of the KG era.
Yeah.
And not only are they a place that people want to come to, but they're a place where people want to stay. So you got a good player like karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards. I think the Timberwolves are now more appealing for those guys to stick around instead of maybe wanting to get out, which is just as important to retain your talent when you're in a place like Minnesota.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that'll do it for the Ron Johnson Show. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Please go back and listen to that Darius Butler interview. It was awesome. Great guy. Love him. A little bit bullish on the Colts, of course. We know he's a code. Also, Daily 3. And then Kirk Cousins. Go check out that first segment. Make sure you download, subscribe, wherever you get your podcast. Please subscribe, download, wherever you get your podcast. And also you subscribe on YouTube. Take us wherever you want. Search Locked On Sports Minnesota, and you can find the Ron Johnson Show.